Thank you all for listening tonight. There is always the opportunity to ask questions when I'm done. So make notes of the questions you have, and I'll be happy to answer them all for you. The series that I embarked on 7 weeks ago is designed to give you a more thorough understanding of what exactly I'm looking for. There are lots of collector coins that are available in the world. For instance, the United States Mint has made 100 million collector proof sets, for instance, over the last 50 years, and that's just one country, one item. So there are lots of collector coins available in the world, and with all these hundreds of millions of collector coins, you have to understand that not all of them are worthy of inclusion in the set that we are putting together. We are looking for a very narrow criteria that will fit what we want for our collection. That criteria begins with, we want something that's rare. We don't want just something where there's millions of them out there. We want something that's rare. We also want something that's in the best known condition we can possibly find. So now we've really narrowed the field down from hundreds of millions down to just a scarce few. Then to narrow it even further, we want a bargain, or else it wouldn't be treasure hunting. If we were going to pay an outrageous sum of money for these, then it wouldn't be fun treasure hunting. So when you combine those three criteria, you narrow the field down from hundreds of millions down to just a handful. That handful of coins we've been talking about over the last 7 weeks, culminating with tonight's discussion on proof coins. These are a cornerstone of the plan to build the ultimate collection. See, proof coins are, of course, the ultimate coin. So what is a proof coin? You're looking at two modern U.S. coins here, but they are good to illustrate the difference between a proof coin and a non-proof coin. The coin on the left is called a business strike. It was not made, this particular coin is a bullion item, but in essence, it's designed to be made for circulation. So that's why it has a normal finish. The coin on the right has an obvious different finish than the one on the left. Now, what's different about it is that it's been highly polished at the mint. So the black part of the fields that you see are because they're mirror-like or reflective. If you held the coin in your hand, you could see your face in it. Now, why not polish your own coins and make them look like proofs? Well, unfortunately, you can't do that. You can't, once a coin is minted, you cannot alter the surface of it and hope to recreate the proof finish again. That mirror-like finish is done by highly polishing not the coin, but the dies that make the coin. See, the coin press that Tom was talking about a little while ago looks something like this. The one on the left is one from the 1800s. The one on the right is a modern coin press. Quite a big monster machine there, capable of cranking out lots and lots of coins. Oh, and here is the picture of the Money Museum that Tom visited, the largest and most powerful coin press in the world on display there. If any of you have the opportunity to visit the American Numismatic Association's museum in Colorado Springs, Colorado, it's certainly a fascinating place. I've been a life member of the ANA for 40 years, so it's very worthwhile nonprofit hobbyist organization. It was founded in 1892, so it's been around a long time. Now, this is a die. It's a heavy piece of metal where someone has hand engraved the design into the piece of metal. So that's what's polished, not the coin, but the die is polished. So when that polished die hits the blank piece of metal that we call a planchet, it then results in the coin having a mirror-like finish. So you cannot recreate that finish by polishing a regular coin after the fact. It's absolutely impossible. So proof coins are specially made by having that mirror-like finish. They're also specially made because they're struck twice instead of the normal one time. All coins are only struck once except proofs. They run it back through a second time so that it can have a very sharp impression. So as we've been talking about, why not polish your own coins? It's because you'll damage them. If you try to polish your coins, it may look to an untrained eye a little bit mirror-like, but in essence, you will have ruined them. So proof coins must be handled very carefully. That's a proof coin there, and they always have that black-looking type of reflective finish in the background. Unless a coin, of course, over time, the proof coin has tarnished, which is best to leave that alone also. Over time, silver and even gold coins can get colors on them. Now, how to get gold coins get colors on them? Because gold coins are not 100% pure gold. They're mixed with copper. United States gold coins, for instance, are 90% gold and 10% copper. The copper alloy in the gold over time tarnishes and gives the gold coin a different type of color, so that colored film can sometimes obscure the mirror-like background, but its collectors still prefer that original look, even if it obscures the mirror-like background, to one that's been cleaned to get it off. Now, this is the wrong way to handle a proof coin, because if you put your finger on the face of the coin, you're going to leave your fingerprint on it. Proof coins are very fragile, and unlike ordinary coins, they pick up fingerprints much more easily. So you have to be very careful in handling them. Always pick them up by the edge. Proof coins were made for presentation purposes. You might wonder, why did all this trouble go into making the coins? Why would the mint highly polish the dies, take the time to do that? Why would they strike it twice instead of one time? Well, very simply, it was to make the coin more beautiful looking, and the reason for that was to make it a presentation piece. Otherwise, who would care? They're just being made for ordinary commerce to be spent to buy whatever it is you do with your coins and your change. So a proof coin that was made as a presentation piece. Here we have an example of a commemorative coin that was made to commemorate the Braille system that was created by Louis Braille. So that was a silver dollar that was made for that commemorative purpose. Proof coins are made in small quantities. They're not made in huge numbers the way normal coins are made. Since they're made as presentation pieces, they were made in small numbers to be given to dignitaries. Now, the grading of a proof coin is the same scale as the grading of a non-proof coin. Just because a coin is made as a proof doesn't mean that it can't be damaged or worn from circulation if accidentally it gets into circulation instead of being kept as a collector's item. So the same 1 to 70 point scale that applies to non-proof coins also applies to proof coins. So the 70-point scale still works the same. Now, most proof coins are usually a higher numerical grade because they weren't intended for circulation. So it's not as difficult to find a proof coin usually in the higher number grades than it is a non-proof coin. Now, this is the world's first proof coin. It was made in Great Britain in 1656. There are a few coins that were made slightly earlier than this that could conceivably potentially have been called proof gold coins that were also made in Great Britain. But the quality of the striking is rather crude, and so this coin that we're looking at is probably the world's first proof coin that was made with some degree of sophistication. Now, this also happens to be the only coin ever made during the British Empire that did not have a king on the coin. The portrait that you see there is Oliver Cromwell, who led the Civil War against the King Charles I in power at the time. His loyalists won the Civil War. Charles I was beheaded, and Oliver Cromwell became leader of Great Britain. So this particular coin was made by an engraver called Thomas Simon. We'll discuss him more later, so remember that name. But this is the first proof coin. Now you can see again the very sharp strike, how the details just jump out at you. Also, you can see the mirror-like finish that exists in the fields. Now, this coin is 350 years old, so it's not going to look as perfect as the earlier proof coins that we saw, where they had the jet black fields. Because of this one having aged and been handled over the years, it doesn't have the depth of mirror-like finish that some newer coins would have, but that's only because time has eroded away some of it. Nevertheless, this is still an exceptional coin and a major rarity. There's only a handful of them known to exist, and this would be a great addition to our collection. Now, this is the first United States proof coin set, and it's also the world's most valuable coin set. This set of proof coins was made in 1834. Despite the fact that two of the coins in the set are dated 1804, this one was actually made in 1834. The two 1804 dated coins were pulled from the mint and just dusted off, polished up, and put in the set. So, because the mint didn't want to have to go to the trouble of recreating new coins. Now, what was the purpose for this set being made? Well, President Andrew Jackson, whose image you see on the coin in the top center, ordered this set to be made as a diplomatic present to be given to the King of Siam, which is present-day Thailand. The King of Siam received this set and then handed it down to his son, who gave it to Anna, the famous school teacher that you might remember that was immortalized in the movie The King and I. Anna received this set as a present from the king because he wanted to do something generous for her. She took it back to England with her, where it sat for over 100 years before making its way to the United States, and believe it or not, into my hands. I owned this for a period of time, and this is a fabulous set of proof coins, one of the great treasures in the world of all fields of collectibles, and the most valuable coin set in the world as well. Present value, $12 million. Now, this is the king of English silver coins. It's the Simon Petition Crown. Now, I told you earlier to remember the name Thomas Simon. Well, when Charles I, when Charles I was beheaded, his son, Charles II, went into exile and hiding during the Civil War, and the chief coiner of the mint, who was Thomas Simon, who made the English coin that had the portrait of Oliver Cromwell, continued to work at the mint, and Charles II told Thomas Simon that he would give him the position when he came back into power. Well, when Charles II did come into power, he did not allow Thomas Simon to stay in office, and instead hired French designers called the Rottlier brothers. Thomas Simon was quite upset about this, and he made this silver crown. A crown, by the way, is a universal worldwide term given to the largest silver coin made for any country. For instance, an American silver dollar is called an American crown. So this is a worldwide term. So this is the largest silver coin made by Great Britain. Thomas Simon, as you might notice underneath the bust of Charles II, you might notice down at the bottom it has Simon's name on it. Well, Thomas Simon decided that he would try to get his job back by trying to impress the king. So he made this elaborate crown with this ornate detail of his hair and the laureate that he has in his head and the drapery around the bust to impress the king. And around the periphery, or the edge, I should say, Thomas writes in 2 rows of letters. And now this is a thin coin, similar to the coins you'd have in your pocket, and it's got inscripted around the edge in 2 rows a petition, hence the name, the Simon Petition Crown. In this petition, it says that he is asking the king if he would consider relieving the Rottlier brothers and hiring him instead if he is so impressed with the workmanship that he has displayed with this crown. Well, Charles II does not hire him back, and this coin goes down into history as the most famous of all English silver crowns. There are only 13 of them known to exist, and this particular piece is a proof-like specimen. Back in 1663, the technology wasn't that great for making proof coins, so this coin is what's called proof-like. It's not quite the depth of polish to give a foolproof designation, but it still falls in our category of tonight's discussion of proof coins. So we give it that recognition to put into tonight's webinar, this being one of the world's most famous coins and also a candidate for the category of proof coins we're talking about tonight. This coin was obviously made as a presentation piece to give to Charles II. The coin you're looking at is a part of our collection. We recently bought it. The cost of it was $660,000, in case anybody's wondering. That is approximately 9 cents on the dollar of what the comparable U.S. coin of similar fame and rarity is worth, which is about $7.5 million. So at less than 1/10 the price of an American coin of similar importance, we thought this piece was worth buying and put it into our set. So this is a very, very famous item. The importance of proof coins to collectors and investors today. See, most major rarities are proof coins. Because they were made in limited numbers, they obviously are rare and very, very desirable. See, proof gold then would be the treasure of treasures. This is the ultimate, gold being the ultimate coinage metal for coins. So when we build our great collection, we focus on proof gold coins and proof rarities that are also silver. We're not 100% focusing on gold. We're also buying the great rarities in silver too. For the most part, proof coins exist in small numbers, like the Simon Petition Crown. There's only 13 of them known to exist. The piece we have is the finest of the 13 known. This particular coin you're looking at is also part of our collection. It's a sovereign. The sovereign is the longest running coinage series in the world. We discussed that earlier in this series. This particular coin is the finest known of the 1893 Victorian sovereign. This is called the veiled head design. There were only 3 proof sovereigns made for the reign of Queen Victoria, so they are extremely rare. They only made 3 different years, I should say. Again, this is the finest one known of this year. There were 793 made in 1893, but this being the finest known, that's what we wanted for our collection. Again, we want the best we can possibly find. Great Britain and the United States are the great leaders in proof gold. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, gold is the ultimate coinage metal. Proof is the ultimate coin. So proof gold is the ultimate of the ultimate coins. There are only 2 countries in the world that made proof gold coins prior to modern times, where they're made for collectors. During the time when coins were made in limited quantities, only Great Britain and the United States made them. You see, today we make proof coins for collectors in enormous quantities, and that's not what we're looking for. Excuse me a second. We don't want the modern coins where there are millions of them. We're talking about collector coins that were made primarily before 1933, when the United States and then later Great Britain went off the gold standard, and coins were made in limited numbers. So the types of coins we're looking for exist in very small numbers. And in all the world, only Great Britain and the United States made proof gold coins. We learned our coinage technology from Great Britain. Great Britain was the world leader in coining technology, both in machine-made coins as well as in special presentation proof coins. Great Britain led all of Europe and the New World as the great leader of the world in coinage technology. So when the United States separated from Great Britain, of course we were a colony at one time, the United States learned its coinage technology from Great Britain and started making proof coins as well. This is the world's first gold proof set. Now, you saw earlier the world's most valuable proof set, the King of Siam set, which is America's first coin set, proof set, but that was made in 1834. This is the world's first proof gold set in 1826. One of every denomination, from the little copper coin at the bottom of the page all the way up to the great big 5-pound piece that's 1 1/4 ounces of gold. So that's the biggest gold coin ever made in the world on a regular basis. So you have 4 gold coins front and back at the top, 4 silver coins, the largest one being the crown, then the half crown, then the shilling, and then the 6-pence. So give you an idea of the sizes of the coins. Then the top row is the 5-pound, 2-pound, 1-pounder sovereign, and then half-pound or half-sovereign. This is the world's first proof gold set and a very desirable item, and we just recently bought one of these. So that's another important inclusion into our set. Now, this is the most famous proof set from Great Britain. It's called the Una and the Lion proof set. It was made for the coronation of Queen Victoria, and as a presentation piece, only a couple hundred of them were made. On the centerpiece is the large 5-pound gold piece, again 1 1/4 ounces of gold. And the picture, the large picture on the left, that's the reverse of the 5-pound piece, and that gives the set its name, Una and the Lion. Una represents truth and virtue for the young queen, and the lion walking beside her is to protect those honorable virtues of her youth and innocence. So that's in truth. So it's a very popular, very desirable, very historically significant set, and this is a spectacular item. This set is worth a little over $100,000, and yet a comparable American set would be many multiples of that. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the price history of Great Britain versus U.S. proof sets. Here is a proof $20 gold piece from the United States. And back when I first got into the coin business in 1970, a proof set from the United States was worth about $10,000. A British proof set from the same time period was also worth about $10,000. Today, I'm sorry, the British set back then was also worth about $10,000. So they're both worth about $10,000 40 years ago. Today, the American set is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the British set is now worth about $20,000 to $25,000. So the British set has gone up in value, albeit at a very slow pace, whereas the American set has ratcheted up into very large numbers. This price history comparison is the reason why I'm in Europe and focusing on buying these great British gold proof sets because they're bargains. Remember, there's no other country in the world that made these beautiful coin sets in these presentation purposes of with the proof finish. So Great Britain and the United States are unique with that in a historical significance, but American sets are worth 10 times the price of the British counterparts. So my goal is to buy every single one I can possibly buy. That's right, I want to try to corner the market on them. I'd like to buy every single known British proof set for our little group because they're just absolute bargains. At the price levels they're available at today, there's just no way to lose money. They're stupidly cheap. The market has not accelerated at anything close to the pace that it did in the United States. They're absolute bargains. So we should go out there and try to buy them all. And as a matter of fact, I presently buy every single one I lay my eyes on. Not one that comes past my desk do I pass on. I buy every one that's in nice condition. So tonight we conclude with the offer to you that you can partner with us and be a part of our grand plan to build the world's best collection of great European and primarily Great Britain rarities at pennies on the dollar compared to American coins. We've spent the last 7 weeks discussing the different areas of the market that we're focusing in on, and that's what we are attempting to build. If you'd like to discuss this with me personally, I'm available to do so at no cost, and we can discuss how you can be a partner with us and build this great collection. I would like to tell you that next week I will be discussing my beginning of another seminar, possibly even a series that I'll be working on, and that is why buy the best. The best is what everybody aspires to, whether it be in collector cars, whether it be in gemstones, whether it be in paintings, antiquities, oriental rugs, whatever it is, people want the best, and the best always seems to appreciate the best. So next week we'll be talking about why you should own the best and how I can use my vast experience in this area to accomplish that for you. We will open it up for questions now. Tom, you have any thoughts, or you want to read the questions to me?
We don't have any questions on the board right now, but while people are typing in their questions, and those of you that have already signed in, you know how to do questions, how to just in the same area where you put your name in at the beginning, just type your questions in. And those of you that have come in later, if you just go to the question panel or the control panel, and where the word questions is, if there's a minus sign there, it's already open, just type your questions in. And if there's a plus sign, click the plus sign, and it will open up the question area and put your question in. You can ask questions.
Yeah, is there anybody on tonight who has never listened to our webinars before?
There's a few people on that I don't recognize their names, so there's a possibility. If you've never been on a webinar, why don't you just identify yourself and just say, I haven't, or whatever.
The reason I asked that question is because I finished early. I'll take a few minutes to give you a quick background on what we're doing in more detail if you've never attended one of our webinars before.
Okay. If that's you and you'd like a quick overview, if this is your first time on one of the webinars, just speak up, type your name in there, and we'll be glad to do that for you. In the meantime, let me just mention as well that Greg just finished a 4-part series that he did in the daytime. It was a noon series, and last Wednesday was the last, and it was Gold 101 through Gold 401, where he went through all the basics, what we call our essential knowledge. So it's a 4-hour series, and it goes from basic to intermediate to advanced to the PhD level. And if you're interested in hearing that, it's a fascinating series. Just write to the email address there on the screen or call the telephone number there, and we'll be glad to send you a list of webinars. And that will, by the way, that same list will include the first part of it includes all 4 in the Gold 101 through Gold 401 series, but it will also include the next section, the treasure hunting 101 through 601. So if you missed any of those, or if this is your first webinar with us and you come in on Gold 701, you can pick that up. Here's a question from Patty. She says, have you seen an appreciable increase in prices now that PCGS is actually grading in Zurich and Paris? Actually, PCGS is in Paris only. NGC is in Zurich, and PCGS is the only one that's started grading so far, and it's just been recently. But Greg, you want to go ahead and fill in the blanks there?
No, there hasn't been any appreciable change in prices, and there won't be because of the fact that we still have an antiquated pricing system. So there's no mechanism that exists to transmit information. Think of it this way. In the United States, what would the stock market be like if there was no electronic trading of stocks? If you couldn't download your stock portfolio onto your cell phone and get up to the moment valuations in your portfolio, if you couldn't go read it in the Wall Street Journal, if you couldn't find it through your stockbroker, if there was no method of determining the value of your stocks, what kind of a market would we have? Well, that's the market that exists in Europe. You see, the market in Europe has never been modernized. In the United States, the market for coins was modernized decades ago, and we have tremendous information systems that don't exist in Europe. We have an electronic trading system that allows you to find out what your coins are worth at any moment. We have a weekly price guide that allows you to receive something in the mail that lists all United States coins and tells you what they're worth. None of that exists in Europe. We have an annual price guide. That's it. And that furthermore, that annual price guide only lists 4 categories of coins, whereas in the United States we have a 70-point grading scale. In Europe we have a 4-point grading scale. So certified grading coming to Europe is only one part of the numerous parts that have to be developed to modernize the market. It's an important part, but in and of itself, it won't do anything to change prices. It's the complex, it's the sum of all the parts I just mentioned that will create the upward movement in the market. There needs to be certified grading. There needs to be information systems that value the coins. There needs to be a 70-point scale. All that is still in the future. So the first steps are just beginning now, and that is encouraging to us listening that the market will be eventually modernized in Europe. It's definitely going to happen here, but it is just going to take time.
And we're not really in any big hurry. We have a window here. We don't know how big a window, but we have a window of opportunity to be able to buy these coins at really very, very low prices. I mean, in many cases, we're buying these coins at 5 to 10% of what they will be selling for 3 to 5 years from now. And so we're not in a big hurry. There's things that Greg could do to hasten the process, things he did here in the United States. He was one of the people that helped found the first 2 grading services. He was one of the people that was one of the original owners of the first electronic trading system, and he could. There's ways he could influence and push the modernization over there, but it's really not to our advantage for that to happen. At this point, it's smarter to let nature take its course and to basically buy as many coins as we can at these very low prices and take advantage of the fact that the prices are as low as they are. Dominic
That's
asks,
exactly right.
Dominic asks, what are your thoughts on the Gold Line mini documentary that was done on Nightline exposing their practices? I didn't see that. Did you, Greg?
No, I saw something on the news about it, but it has no bearing on what we're doing, so I don't really pay any attention.
Well, you know, I'm familiar with Nightline. I didn't see the particular thing, but I have seen the advertising that they do, and to me it seems unethical the way they advertised. The bottom line is one of the things we try to explain to people constantly on these webinars is that gold bullion is not a good investment. They take advantage of people's gullibility, I believe. People understand that the government is ruining our economy, that inflation is a cancer, that it's eating away at our national financial well-being, and not just the nation's well-being, but our individual economies, our families' financial well-being. And they know that people are afraid. They know that people realize that since we went off the gold standard in the last 77 years, the dollar has lost 96% of its value. And with the way the current government is operating, in the next 7 years, we could see the dollar drop another 25 or 30% or even more from the 4 cents that it's worth now. In other words, the dollar's worth 4 cents of what it was in 1933 when we went off the gold standard. So the people that are pushing gold bullion, I believe, are taking advantage of people's trusting natures and gullibility because they say, well, look, you know, gold is up 500% in the last 9 years. Buy gold. What people don't realize is that, yeah, it's up 400 or 500% or whatever, but the $10,000 that you put into gold for 9 years ago, it's now worth $50,000, will only buy you $10,000 worth of the goods and services that you could buy when you first put that money into gold. So what have you really gained? Gold bullion is simply a way to hedge yourself against inflation. It's a way to protect yourself against the ravages of inflation, but it's not an investment. The kind of coins that Greg has been talking about to you tonight are a way to invest. See, I've been in investments all my life, and I know the difference between an investment and a hedge. A hedge is insurance. That's what bullion is, and that's what Gold Line sells. They sell bullion gold. What Greg's talking about is investment-grade gold. We're talking about rare coins that will increase in value far more than just the bullion value, and because of that, they are a real investment because they'll go up in value, not just in price. I'm sorry, Greg, you're going to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to make certain that you got that point across, is that we don't discourage the ownership of gold because obviously owning gold is better than owning paper bills, dollar bills, which have nowhere to go except down. So given my choice between owning gold bullion or owning $100 bills, I'd rather have the gold bullion. But this is far more superior in that over time, history has shown that the rarity value continually rises faster than just the bullion value alone.
If you want to really simplify it, you could put it like this, folks. Paper money is the worst way to hold your wealth. Gold bullion is a better way. Rare gold coins is superior to bullion, and European rare coins are superior to U.S. rare coins. Now, we don't really have time to get into the reasons why that's the case, but I can just tell you briefly that over the last 24 years, since grading was started here in the United States, we have seen U.S. rare coins, depending on the coin, go up hundreds and in many cases thousands, and in a few cases tens of thousands of times in value. And it's due to the third-party grading. You know, the way what Greg described is happening in Europe, the 4-point grading system that they have there, good, fine, very fine, and uncirculated. He didn't mention that's the way it used to be when he helped start the first grading service here in the United States. From the time he started 40 years ago until 26 years ago, that's what we had. Basically, if you go to Europe today and go to a coin show, for him, it's like going into a time warp because that's what he experienced when he first started his career. So they're on a very antiquated grading system, and because of that, the values of their coins have not risen dramatically like the U.S. coins have done. But it's starting to happen now. The two major grading services that grade 95, 96% of all the coins in the world that are graded have now both opened offices, as Patty mentioned, one in Zurich, one in Paris. And so that grading revolution is going to take place. And basically what it means is that instead of two people, a buyer and a seller, getting together and haggling over what the grade of the coin is and whether it's in this condition or that condition, you have a third-party expert that does nothing all day long but grade coins, that looks at the coin and says, this is the condition of the coin. They authenticate that it is actually whatever, a Queen Victoria Jubilee 5 guineas piece and so on, that it's authentic and that the grade is whatever it is, so people can buy with confidence. And that, coupled with the fact that you can trade electronically now, you don't have to go to the coin show, it means that people can buy coins literally sight unseen. And it just totally revolutionized the industry. It took coin collecting from being a little sleepy hobby 26 years ago, or 24 years ago, to being a multi-billion-dollar industry. And we believe that's exactly what's going to take place in Europe, and it's starting to take place right now. So the tremendous rise in prices that we saw in the United States over the last 24 years we believe will continue to some degree, but not nearly as much. We believe that the U.S. market has matured, and that's why Greg, who has spent 40 years buying U.S. coins, has now stopped buying U.S. coins and is now buying strictly European coins, because that's where it's at. So the worst place to keep your money is in cash or any kind of dollar-denominated investments. The next best place is bullion coins like Krugerrands or whatever. A better place would be U.S. rare coins, and the best, or as the Bible says, a more excellent way, would be in European rare coins.
Very good. Any other questions come up?
Let's see here. Patty says, so that being said, how long do you think you will be able to continue to get such great bargains? More importantly, do I need to get a second mortgage? Oh, no, she said, I didn't need to get a second job.
Well, I've never advocated going out and taking out loans to make investments. But nobody knows how long it will be. I mean, we know it's coming, but we don't know how fast. Now, obviously, I could do something about speeding it up, but we're still in the acquisition phase of building the collection, and we've bought about a third to a fourth of what we'd like to buy, so we still have ways to go yet, and I don't want to start accelerating it before we can build our position, and that's what my primary focus is right now. So there is going to be a lot of work in building the systems to modernize the market, but Tom mentioned I've done it before. I know the right people to call upon to assist me in doing it again, and that will be an exciting frontier to enter into, but we're still into the future yet. By at least a few years, I believe, before we'll be pushing those buttons. Okay, anything else?
Okay, I think we're just about done. We'll give you a few more seconds. Anybody else have anything they'd like to add, or any comments, any questions? Well, I think we ought to give Greg a big hand, all right, everybody? Yay, Greg. Excellent presentation.
Well, thank you.
Greg.
Thank you, Tom. And again, next week I start the discussion of why the best, and that's something you'll want to listen to. Anyone who'd like to personally discuss with me what to do, if you have coins you own presently, I'd be happy to analyze those for you at no cost, give you my opinion. And let's get together as quickly as possible to discuss what you might want to do in being involved with us to build this collection. Time is obviously not on our side because the longer it takes us to put it together, obviously it's going to cost us more. So that is the opportunity, and I look forward to speaking with you or visiting with you as soon as you get back to us.
Excellent. So next Tuesday night and every Tuesday night, with the exception of a few holidays, Greg does webinars all the way from Europe. And don't forget the Monday night investor education calls. Those are done at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, and you're always welcome on those. If you're not on the list for them, you can use that same email address there, rarecoins@att.net, and just write to me and say I'd like to be on the list for the Monday night webinars. We have some great speakers in there. John Muratori spoke for us just recently. He's the author of Rich Church, Poor Church, talks about finances from a biblical viewpoint. We talk about all different types of investing vehicles, financial planning. 2 weeks from tonight, or 2 weeks from last night actually, we have a great speaker, Rob Sansom. We've had him on before, talking about kids' wealth. how to teach your children and grandchildren about finances, how to save, how to use budgeting and planning ahead. You know, kids often tend to have the tendency to just, as soon as they get money, an allowance or whatever, just spend it all. So it's a system that teaches them how to handle money properly. Really a great thing. So anyway, I think you'd enjoy the investor education classes as well, so you're all welcome. Appreciate you being here. Greg, thank you again. I look forward to next week's class on why buy the best. And we'll say good night to everyone, and God bless you.
God bless. Good night.